Do not wait for the perfect opportunities. Create your own opportunity if you don't have an opportunity. That is what I'll be talking to you about today in Jim Ovia's book, Africa Rising. In this episode, you will learn about the power of marketing. You will learn about the power of making presentations to compel people. In this episode as well, you will understand the power of personal branding and corporate branding in growing. That is what has made Zenith Bank a 2.79 trillion naira business today. Welcome to this episode. On today's episode, I will be reviewing Jim Ovia's book, Africa Rising. Now, I bought the Kindle version of the book because I didn't see the physical version here in England. And then I had to finish reading it and then I reversed it and printed my notes out. So let's get into the episode for today. Let's look at how this whole thing started from opportunities. In the 1980s, the then military president of Nigeria, President Ibrahim Babangida, because of the downturn in oil prices, introduced what they called SAP. I was very small then, I remember. It's called Structural Adjustment Program. And one of the offshoot of that was that where they were going to privatize many of the corporations in Nigeria. And as at that time, banks were owned by governments. So Jim Ovia saw an opportunity. And then Jim Ovia was a staff of a bank called IMD in Lagos. He had just finished his NYSC, all right? Jim Ovia is the current chairman of Zenith Bank. He had just finished his NYSC. And then they opened up the floodgates for people to, take opportunity of that and get banking licenses. Now, remember, this guy was a staff of IMD. He was a staff of a bank. Then he said to himself, you know what? Having spent over like 10 years in the banking industry, let me also apply for a banking license. I'm just thinking to myself, how do you apply for a banking license when you are just a normal banker? Think about it. How do a normal person sit down and apply for a banking license? We are a staff of a bank. It takes a lot of guts. Now, when you apply for a banking license, then in Nigeria, there were two categories of banks. There is the merchant bank license, and then there's the commercial bank license. As at that time, the license for a merchant bank was 6 million naira. Can you imagine? 6 million? I should just get a bank now. And as at that time, the price to get a commercial bank license was 20 million naira. Now, here's what Jim Ovia said. Jim Ovia said, my gut instinct told me to go for the big one. You see, from day one, he already started thinking big. Remember, this guy is a staff of a bank. All right? So he started thinking big from day one. My notes are also here. Now, here's another thing on self-agency. Do you know that he wrote the feasibility study, the business plan of Zenith Bank by himself? Zenith Bank is worth 2.something trillion naira as of today. That's the market capitalization of that bank. He wrote the business plan for Zenith Bank by himself. Do you know why? Because when he was a youth corper, for those of you listening to me who are not Nigerians, there's something called NYSC, National Youth Corps, right? That is what you do when you leave the university or the polytechnic to serve the nation, right? I did that myself. I did that in a city called Ilorin in Kwara State, right? It was a great experience. While he was a youth corper, he used to write business plans and feasibility studies for manufacturing companies in Lagos. While he was a youth corper as well, he used to sell cars. He was a car salesman. So what did he say? He said that he brought those experiences with him. So when he now got the job to work as a staff of IMB Bank, and he saw the opportunity to, acquire a banking license, he wrote the feasibility study, the business plan of Zenith Bank by himself without a consultant. I want that to sink in. I really want that to sink in. That is a serious testament to self-agency. I mean, some people are watching me right now. They can't even apply for visa by themselves. They actually pay for somebody to apply for visa for them. Some people don't even have belief in themselves to fill a form. They pay for a consultant to fill a form for them. This guy wrote the business plan for a bank. Do you know what that means? By himself. Why? Because of his past experiences. You can leverage your past experiences to help you get ahead in your current life. Some of you watching me right now, you listen to this now on Spotify right now, listen to it on Apple Podcasts right now. By the way, click on the subscribe button on YouTube if you are watching me on YouTube. Click on the subscribe button on Spotify if you are listening to me on Spotify. And click on the plus button if you are listening to me on Apple Podcasts. You get me? All right. So you can leverage your past experiences, right, and bring them into your today's experiences. Perhaps you are working in a company where the salary is very low. It's not very, very high. But I want you to pay attention in that company, because that experience, you can use it somewhere in the future. Perhaps you're a consultant, you're a business person, you are currently serving a client that did not pay you a lot of money, right? You can use that experience for your future. I have clients who have paid me money to do sales coaching for their company. By the way, my day job is I'm a sales trainer. I do sales trainings for some of the biggest companies in Africa and even small companies as well. So if you want to work with me, you can click on the link in the show notes to book my calendar to see if you're a fit. All right. So there are some companies that didn't pay me well. However, I got a testimonial from those companies. Those testimonials, I have used them to get bigger jobs, like heavy duty jobs, taking my past experience and using it for my current experience and for my future. Did you see what I'm talking about there? Next, now here's a little bit of a challenge now. So when he went to the CBN in Abuja to make because if you apply for a license, the officials of Central Bank of Nigeria will have a presentation or a meeting with you. He said when he went for that presentation, they told him that he can't get the license because the law states that you must have over 20 years of banking experience to get that license. The guy now said he stood before the people. He was now compelling them, telling them, look, I've worked with some of the best banks in the world. I went to school in America, learned a lot. He said he compelled them. He said his presentation was so strong that the CBN officials now said, you know what, young man, we will give you a chance and present your case to the then Minister of Finance for the country, because that's the person that will make the final decision. Now watch this. He didn't have 10 years of experience. He's a young guy. He was a staff of a bank. How did he compel them to believe in him? You know, I think it was Jordan Peterson. He said something very, very powerful. He said, if you can speak well, and if you can write well, you are absolutely dangerous. I repeat, if you can speak well, and if you can write well, you are absolutely dangerous. If you're listening to this podcast right now, if there is a skill that you must master, is the ability to talk and the ability to write. See, if you can master those two skills, the amount of opportunities that will come to you, and guess what? They are all learnable skills. I talk every single day. That's two things. If you can learn how to talk well and write well. Talking well is about selling. Did you get that? There's nothing you cannot get in this world. So he compelled them. And that was how he got that license. I'm coming. This is a fascinating story. When he got the letter from the CBN, the physical letter from the Central Bank of Nigeria, the letter read like this. It said, congratulations. We are pleased to recommend the approval of your banking license to the Ministry of Finance, who is charged with the responsibility of issuing the ultimate banking license. You should now enlist other prospective shareholders to join you to contribute a total of 20 million naira. This is 1990. Guess what? The battle has started now. So he needed 20 million naira. He didn't have 20 million naira. Guess what he did again? He brought out his pen and he wrote a list of 50 people that he thinks should become shareholders of Zenith Bank. You remember the episode I did about Access Bank, Boje, and Mokwede? The same thing. He wrote there's something about writing down your goals, writing down the list, because I believe in the universal spiritual law that if you write it out, you can invite it in. Yeah. So he wrote that list down, but guess what? When he got the license, he now called all of them and said, look, I have the license now. Are you willing to bring your part of the money? Only 24 of them, of the 50 people, dropped money. So so if you look at it in terms of sales conversion, it had a 48% sales conversion rate. So that's high, because if you call 50 people and only 24 of them paid, then you had a 48% sales conversion rate. That is a lot. I mean, I'm a sales trainer. I do sales training for a company. One of the questions I always ask my clients, what is your sales conversion rate? Yeah, I mean, one of my clients just closed a deal of over 200 and something million naira. Another one was 500 and something million. I coached the sales team of this company. Did you get that? We always look at the conversion rate. 48% is a very, very high sales conversion. You see, if you can sell, you will never be broke another day of your life. If you can master the skill of selling and persuasion, you will never be broke another day of your life. Now, speaking about selling and conversion, if you want to take your sales game to the next level, I have packaged 2 of my books together: 15 Simple Ways to Sell Anything to Anyone, Irresistible, exactly how to attract your ideal customers into your life. I've also packaged 2 of my past webinars on sales, and each of the webinar is 5 hours. It's just 10 hours. All right. I've also, this book review that I'm doing, I put it in a PDF as well. I put it together with 22 other books. You can get all of that bundle for less than $10. If you can't invest $10 in yourself, then I don't know what to do, because Jim Ovia, you will see, he's talking about the books that are influencing. One of the books that are influencing is a book by Daniel Pink called To Sell something about sales. Did you get that? So get that, click on the link on my show note and get that package now. It will help you sell. I make a lot of money selling, so I can teach you how to sell. All right. So he spoke to 50 people. Only 24 of them dropped money. That is the Zenith Bank that you're seeing today. You know, I was thinking to myself, I said, those people, the remaining 20-something people that didn't believe in the Zenith Bank dream, what would they be telling their children today? What would they tell their kids? That I had the opportunity to invest in Zenith Bank and I did not take advantage of it. And this company is now 2.7 trillion naira. You know, it was Charlie Munger that said something very powerful. He said, when you notice that the odds are in your favor, bet heavily. When the opportunities are in your favor, bet heavily. Jim Ovia knew that this opportunity to buy a bank, it will not come forever. So now that I have this opportunity, he gave it his life, his soul. His soul. So that is how you see the Zenith Bank that you see today. But that's not all. You know, life is about challenges. Another thing I learned from the book was that in 2005, Soludo, I think, is the governor of Anambra State now. He was a Central Bank of Nigeria chairman, 2025. He came up with a law that just to sanitize the banking industry in Nigeria then, he said that any bank that does not have 25 billion naira will lose their license. And then there were like 90-something banks in Nigeria. So it was a serious shake in the industry. I think it was only 25 banks that survived that. Jimoya said, Zenith Bank did not shake. We didn't move. He said, because we had a strategy. Our strategy was that we were not going to acquire another bank. You see, everybody has a different strategy, because during that time, Access Bank acquired other banks. Yes, they acquired other banks, right? I know my niece used to work in a bank that Access Bank acquired. Access Bank acquired other banks. But Zenith Bank said, we will not acquire other banks. We will go to the public market. They did what they call an IPO, an initial public offering. That means they were selling their shares to Nigerians. Do you know how much they raised when they sold their shares to Nigerians? You want to know? 48 billion naira. 48 billion naira. What were they looking for? Only 25 billion. See, sales is a very powerful thing. Sales is a powerful thing, man. 48 billion. And I know, I was thinking about this episode and I began to say to myself, I was meditating on the episode. I said to myself, the Holy Spirit spoke to me, said, the money is in the hands of the people. I don't think you heard me. Nigeria has over 200 million people. The money is in the hands of the populace, the hands of the people. If you can persuade, there is nothing you cannot get in this earth. So Ludo gave them only 18 months. They raised that money. But as at that time, the capitalization for banks was 2 billion. Can you imagine from 2 billion to 25 billion? The guy said, we're not shaking, we'll raise this money. He said, because we believe that the money is in the hands of the people. So they did their IPO strategy. So you may want to know, how did they do this? What was their strategy? Thank you for asking that. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, click on the subscribe button. Again, if you're listening to this on Spotify, click on the subscribe button on Spotify. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, click on the plus sign. If you want to work with me and take your sales to the next level, there's a link in the show note. Book my calendar. Let's see if I can help your company or your team. All right. And lastly, I have a webinar coming up. It's called my 5-day Make Sales Challenge. 1,000 people have gone through that class. Click on the link on the show note and register for that webinar. I'll help you take your sales to the next level. By the way, I have done sales training for Zenith Bank before. All the banks I've been reviewing, I've done sales training for Access Bank. I've done sales training for Zenith Bank. So I understand how the sales things work, correct? So how did they go about it? They said that, let me use his words here. He said, how did we achieve this remarkable success when so many banks couldn't? He said, we adopted a specific and methodical approach using geographic and topographic mapping that allowed us to determine the distances between towns. They divided Nigeria into different segments, and they put different people to go about, to all their managers, all their CEOs, all their branch managers. They were covering a specific segment of the country. That's how they enveloped this country. I remember those days, they will come to your house, they will come to your office, they will knock doors. People were buying shares, 10,000 naira here, 100,000 naira there, 2 million here, 5 million, because the money is in the hands of the people. It's in the hands of the people. Did you get that? So if you can, so in this modern age, right, if you have an audience, you will not be broke. So I want to encourage you, build an audience. If you have an audience, you can build anything on top of that audience. You did get that? So another thing that they did what they call multi-channel approach. It said, secondly, we contracted the professional service of agents skilled in advertisement, sales promotion, marketing, PR. Say they use flyers, they use brochures, they use television ads, they use radio jingles, they use newspaper ads. So they didn't use only one strategy. They use multiple strategies to achieve their goals. Did you see what they did now? So if you want to reach out to people, you cannot depend on only one marketing channel. You have got to use various channels and strategies if you are going to reach out to people, because it's not enough to have a great product. Your distribution can be a moat for you. Your distribution think about it. Coca-Cola is not the only reason why Coca-Cola is successful is that they are a distribution success. Remember on episode 226 of the Paul Foh Podcast, we spoke about Money Point. Money Point is not only a technical success, Money Point is a distribution success, because 26 million transactions, 26 million people use Money Point every single month. That is heavy distribution. There's no local government in Nigeria that you will not find Money Points. So the same thing for you now. You can distribute yourself digitally. Did you get that? So if you create a piece of content, put it on every platform. You go to stories, go everywhere, go to WhatsApp status. That is your own way of distributing content right now. Don't depend on only one channel. Study the likes of Zenith Bank. Have a multi-channel approach so that you can reach out to more people, because some people may not be on podcasts, they may be on YouTube. Some people may not be on YouTube, they may be on LinkedIn. So you gotta be everywhere. In behavioral economics, this is called the availability heuristics or the availability bias. Did you get that? Great. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying it, because I'm enjoying these episodes. Let's look at what Jim Ovia said about networking. This is a great book, man. I think everybody should get this book if you can. I think I couldn't get the physical copy. I used to have a physical copy of that book when I was in Lagos. I didn't read it then, but I had to buy the Kindle version of the book. It's such a great read. Great read. It was 200 something page, but I picked up the book. I couldn't put it down. You know, a book is good when you read it at 12 midnight. All right, great. Let's look at networking. I love this thing about networking. He said that banking is a business based upon trust and relationships. I repeat, banking is a business based upon trust and relationships. Now, every business is based upon trust and it is based upon relationships. So your network is your net worth. He said, at a time, Inside Africa is a program on CNN. I used to watch CNN a lot. Was sponsored by the Angolan government. He said somebody invited him to a networking event one day in Lagos, and he met the CNN people. They told him that, Inside Africa is being sponsored by the Angolan government. He now said to them, when will their sponsorship end? He said their sponsorship will end in December of that year. So he said he was watching and waiting. When it was January 1st, he said he called CNN by himself to wish them a happy new year and said, did the Angolan government renew their contract to sponsor Inside Africa on CNN? They said no. So he said Zenith Bank paid for multi-year sponsorship of Inside Africa. He said the reason is because the best of the best in the world, they watch CNN. So every time the program comes up, they will now say, this program is sponsored by Zenith Bank. Because it's thinking global. Today, Zenith Bank is listed in the London Stock Exchange, LSE. It's a global company. They have offices in London, offices all over the world. 2.7 trillion naira. Because of a meeting he went to. He met somebody. He met a CNN person. That's how they began to sponsor Inside Africa. So I want to ask you a question. Do you go out? You know, some of you don't like to go out. You like to stay in your house. You don't shake hands. See, the more hands you shake, the more money you will make. So go out there. Shake somebody's hand. Go out there. Your network is your net worth. The stronger your network is, the more opportunities you attract. And one of the things will help your network is think about what you can give to people, not what you can get. So I have a lot of customers who are very rich, billionaires, very rich customers. There's nothing I can buy for them. So what I can buy for them is a book. One of my favorite books to buy for most customers is the Almanac of Charlie Munger. That book is like 20-something pounds. I've bought a couple to give to big customers. So look for ways to give them something. Another thing that I do is that if I see a piece of article or podcast, send it to them, because at that level, what gift are you going to buy for them? So give them something intellectual, but figure out something that you can give to people so that you can nurture your own network. Did you get that? So there's a lot of lessons here. When they opened their first branch of Zenith Bank, it was a very small, in a residential compound in Lagos. They were sharing it with a couple. He said after work, he would take the transactions for that day. He would look at every customer till 12 midnight. Every customer till 12 midnight. The next day, he would call them and thank them. He said one of the things that helped in terms of relationship again is that when he was in IMB, he was a great staff of IMB. So he built a lot of relationship. That his first set of customers in Zenith Bank were people that he had done business with as a staff of IMB that moved with him to Zenith Bank. There's a lot of things to learn from this book. Another thing I learned from the book was on the power of branding. Zenith Bank was the first bank that branded their locations very, very, very well. You see the Zenith Bank logo. They branded a whole street in Lagos. it taught me something. I after reading this book, I said to myself, I vow that all my content online now they will have the same color or the same stuff. There's something about similarity. He said it builds trust and consistency. This was a great episode. I hope you enjoyed it like I enjoyed reading the book. Thank you for all the comments that you guys are commenting. Please write a comment about this episode if you enjoyed it. Share the episode with a friend, all right? Post it on your Instagram stories. Let people see that you are enjoying such a podcast. Click on the subscribe button on Spotify. Click on the subscribe button on YouTube. Click on the plus sign on if you're on Apple Podcast. Listen to this on Apple Podcast. If you want me to come and speak in your company as a sales trainer for a company, click on the link in the show note and book my calendar. I speak in companies as well. I have a sales training coming up. It's a webinar. 1,000 people have gone through that webinar. People are making sales based on what they learned. The webinar starts on the 18th of November to the 22nd of November. Click on the link in the show note to register for that webinar, or get my bundle where I put 2 of my books together, 15 Simple Selling into Any War, or Irresistible. Get that book and 22 book reviews that I put together, all for less than $10. So click on that and I'll speak to you soon. May God bless you. May God bless the work of your hand, and I'll speak to you soon. Let's go. Boom. It was a great episode. Great episode.